Here we go. 3, 2, and 1.
Boom! Welcome to the Big Honker Podcast. Did you know? Brought to you by Mallard Bay and Iron Wolf Outfitters in Louisiana. For some teal hunting, holler at Iron Wolf Outfitters and look them up on mallardbay.com. They can take care of you on all your stuff. Guides, outfitters, get on Mallard Bay.
It's that simple.
It's very simple. And did you know today, I'm going to start out with it's the Olympic season.
It is. Have you watched any of it?
No, and probably will not watch any of it either.
We watched the butterfly stroke last night.
Did you? Well, good for y'all.
Titillating.
Titillating. I am at...
Now, they're allowing transgenders.
That's my problem I have with it.
Did you see the boxer lady?
Yeah,
That poor girl.
I'm done. I won't watch it.
I do not understand how you can say that you are pro-woman and pro-transgender.
Yeah, I don't.
You got to pick.
Yeah, you can't pick either way.
I mean, if they're playing fucking chess or tiddlywinks or something like that, pit them against each other.
I don't give a shit if they're playing golf. At least it's not a contact sport.
If it involves any sort of physicality, a female cannot compete with a man.
No.
And especially boxing. But
No.
I do not understand how these... we're getting off on a tangent.
No, but
anyway.
that's part of what got me on this deal. That I don't care about the opening ceremonies. I do not care. If they want to make fun of Christians, knock themselves out. That's their deal. They can rot in hell. I don't care. So I don't get into all of that part of the deal. You do what you want to do. You can take it any way you want. If it was art, if it was making fun of the Bible, whatever. So I just don't care. I'm sick of all the woke bullshit. I don't know why we got to try to include everyone in it. It is a athletic competition for alpha males and alpha females to compete against other alpha males and females, not transgender bullcrap. But the boxing deal has been the one thing that I will not watch it. I just do not care. Olympics ain't what it used to be. When I was a kid, it was some kid from Iowa or New Hampshire from a small town defying the odds.
They know now.
Yes, and it's just not. It's lost its appeal for me. I love America. America doesn't love me, and so I don't really care. I've really lost on a lot of the Olympics crap. Just doesn't. I follow the NFL. They're woke in a lot of ways. It pisses me off, but I like the NFL. So that's one thing I'm giving into. Fun facts about the Olympics. Gold medals aren't solid gold.
Dang.
They have to have 6 grams of pure gold on top of silver. So they're actually all silver medals. They have not been solid gold medals since 1912, which you could imagine. They're pretty good sizes. That thing would be worth $50,000 a piece, a gold medal, probably. As much silver's in it. Silver's what, $2,000 an ounce?
Right.
And so let's just say it's a 10-ounce gold piece. That's 20 grand. The early Olympians competed naked.
Really?
Yeah. Now that would be interesting on the transgender boxer
that.
deal.
Yeah, right.
That would be interesting to see that.
See where you step.
Women's volleyball, sand volleyball, would be the #1 sport
100%
on TV. Everyone would be watching it. The first Olympics were held in 776 BC.
Makes sense.
In Athens.
Yep.
The Olympics have always been held every 4 years because it coincides with the leap year of the modern Gregorian calendar. So the ancient Olympics were also held every 4 years. This was because they were used to mark the passing of time, which was not counted in years, but Olympiads, which lasted 4 years. The modern Olympics started in 1896. The first Winter Olympics were held in 1924. Art used to be an Olympic sport, like sculpting, painting, architecture, writers, and musicians. There you go. You can cross that transgender stuff off and knock yourself out. I don't care. The first year every country sent a female athlete wasn't until 2012 at the Sydney Olympics. Or 2000. That's the first year that women competed in every single sport. It wasn't until London's 2012 games when they were participating country. Every participating country sent a female. Tug of war used to be an Olympic sport. Joining the list of discontinued events was pigeon racing, croquet, and rope climbing. The Olympic ring represents 5 countries. The Olympics were not held in South America until 2016 in Rio. The Paris Olympics, they are giving out 300,000 condoms.
Dang it. I was going to throw that fun fact in there.
Okay.
You know how many athletes are there?
10,500.
Yeah.
The Olympics have been canceled 3 times during World War I and then twice during World War II. The first were televised in 1960. That 150,000 people watched it.
Right.
There are 65 countries that have never won a medal. South Sudan in basketball is going to be one of them this year. The United States are the all-time highest medal scorers. It's going to be us, and then it's going to probably be Russia. Yeah, Russia's second, Germany's third. Michael Phelps has the most gold medals for any individual. He's won 23 gold medals. The games are held by cities, not countries. Only 5 countries have competed in every Summer Olympics: Greece, Switzerland, Great Britain, Australia, and France. The Olympic flame is lit by the sun. Hosting an Olympics.
What?
Yep.
They use a magnifying glass or something?
Just like how the ancient Olympians used to, the Olympic flame is first lit by the sun before being taken out of the torch relay. It gets lit using a complex set of mirrors, which focus the sun's power on the torch. Hosted at the Olympics, cost billions of dollars to host it. The Sochi Winter Games in 2014, most expensive games ever, costing $60 billion. The U.S. has hosted the most Olympics. In 2028, the Olympics again will be in Los Angeles, which is really not part of the United States. That's part of California, which is a whole different deal. Paris is the first Olympics to pay winning athletes. So they're going to get paid. Athletes in Paris 2024 track and field events will win $100,000 for gold, $50,000 for silver, and $25,000 for bronze. That's a sport that doesn't have transgenders, but they're paying them. So see, the Olympics got that part right. The first Olympic Village was at the 32 Games. The mascots are horrifying. Alcohol is banned at the Olympic Village. And those are 27 of my fun-filled facts. Did you know about the Olympics?
Okay. Mine. Promised you last week the Tuskegee Syphilis experiment. So, the year is 1932. There is no known cure for syphilis. We know what causes it. After being recruited by the promise of free medical care, 600 African-American men in Macon County, Alabama, were enrolled in the project, which aimed to study the full progression of the disease. The participants were primarily sharecroppers, and many had never visited a doctor before. Doctors from the United States Public Health Service, the PHS, which was running the study, informed the participants 399 of them had latent syphilis, and a control group of 201 others were free of the disease. They were being treated for bad blood, a term commonly used in the area to refer to a variety of ailments. The men were monitored by health workers, but were only given placebos such as aspirin and mineral supplements, despite the fact that penicillin became the recommended treatment in 1947, 15 years into the study. PHS researchers convinced local physicians in Macon County not to treat the participants, and instead research was done at Tuskegee Institute, now the Tuskegee University. School was founded in 1881 with Booker T. Washington as its first teacher. In order to track the disease's full progression, researchers provided no effective care as the men died, went blind or insane, or experienced other severe health problems due to untreated syphilis. In mid-1960, the PHS venereal disease investigator in San Francisco blew the whistle on it. In response, PHS officials formed a committee to review the study, but ultimately opted to continue it with the goal of tracking the participant until they all died. Autopsies were performed. It got leaked to a reporter. Heller broke the story in July of 1972, prompting public outrage and forcing the study to finally shut its doors. By that time, 28 participants had perished from syphilis, 100 more had passed away from related complications, and at least 40 spouses had been diagnosed with it, and the disease had been passed to 19 children at birth. 1973, Congress held hearings on the Tuskegee experiment, and the following year, surviving participants and their heirs were, along with their heirs of those who died, received $10 million out-of-court settlement.
Each person got $10 million?
Each person or the heirs of those who died
got $10 million.
So each family got $10 million. As a result, Tuskegee experiment, many African Americans developed a lingering, deep mistrust of public health officials and vaccines. To foster racial hearing, President Bill Clinton issued a 1997 apology stating the United States government did something that was wrong, deeply and profoundly morally wrong. It is not only in remembering that shameful past that we can make amends and repair our nation, but it is in remembering that past that we can build a better present and a better future. Now, I got a little bit of time. 10 outrageous experiments conducted on humans. Number 10 is the Tuskegee Syphilis experiment, which is what I just outlined. Number 9, the Nazi medical experiments. During World War II, Nazis performed medical experiments on adults and children imprisoned in Dachau, Auschwitz, Buchenwald, and Sachsenhausen concentration camps. The accounts of abuse, mutilation, and starvation and torture reads like a grisly complication of all 9 circles of hell. Let's see. Jews were subjected to experiments intended to benefit military, including hypothermia studies where prisoners were immersed in ice water in an effort to ascertain how long a downed pilot could survive in similar conditions. Some victims were only allowed seawater, a study to see how long pilots could survive at sea. These subjects, not surprisingly, died of dehydration. Effectively treating war injuries was also a concern for the Nazis. A pharmaceutical testing went on in these camps. Sulfin something was tested as a new treatment for war wounds. Anyway, so that was that. Watson's Little Albert experiment. In 1920, John Watson, along with graduate students, whoever, experimented on a 9-month-old baby, whom they nicknamed Albert B. Little Albert experiment went like this. Researchers found they introduced a small mouse, furry white rat. Initially, there was no fear response. As time grew on, they would bang bells, make it scary as shit for this little 9-month-old. Anyway, so he became afraid of the rat. No shit, right? The kid died at the age of 6, dying from water on the brain. He also suffered from bacterial meningitis, which may have band acquired accidentally during treatment. So anyway, there's that. The Monster Study, it picked on kids with a stutter. Stateville Penitentiary Malaria Study. During World War II, we were really worried about malaria for our kids over in the South Pacific. So we went to Stateville Penitentiary in Illinois, I believe. Gave a bunch of prisoners malaria, tried to figure out how to treat it, and they got time off of their sentence. CIA Mind Control Project, MK Ultra, we've talked about that a little bit.
What number was that?
That's number 3. But I mean, this is
so it's not ranked by deal, it's just given a list of them.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever you can do. Whatever. Milgram shock experiment, shock treatment on. So basically, there would be a teacher and there would be a student, and the student was an actor. The teacher did not know that. And you were trying to teach them, it was like a quiz game, and every mistake that you made, the teacher thought that they were shocking the student, but the student was an actor, so they knew it was coming. And then each mistake, you would ramp up the voltage. Basically, it was a study on power and authority. So
it wasn't a study on the kid, it was a study on the teacher.
It was a study on the teacher to see how power hungry they would be. About 70% of the teachers obediently administered what they believed to be the highest voltage to shock their learners. So
that's interesting.
Range from 15 to possible 450 volts is what the teachers thought. So more mistakes mounted up, the more they started shocking you. Unit 731, you talked about that last week. And then human vivisection during the ancient Egyptians' time. Basically, prisoners, they wanted to study anatomy, so a bunch of Egyptians and Greeks got together and they said, we'll just start cutting prisoners open. Perform autopsies on them when they were alive. 600 living prisoners were dissected alive. Anyway, that is it. That is 10 times in human history that we have done experiments on people.
We're some evil
and now
people.
we're doing the next one on this transgender thing right now. That's all that is. It's just a big human experiment. It's going to go terribly wrong here in a couple years.
I just do not understand how you can be pro-woman and then be okay with a male beating a woman at a sport or anything.
Right.
I don't get that. That blows my mind. And the left don't even try to change it. That's what's crazy about it. They don't even. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
If you're for women's rights, Ollie,
Whip his ass.
stop it.
I'm gonna get the collar.
But anyways, I don't get all of that. But that's interesting. But we've done a lot of evil experiments over the world. It's not just us. The Japanese did it on the Chinese. They did it to slaves back in the day. Genghis Khan did that. I mean, we've been doing this kind of stuff forever, and we'll continue. You know, the Wuhan lab. The Wuhan lab was the same way. I mean, it's just all. I don't. It's like we set ourselves up to try to find a way to kill us. And
Yeah.
I don't get it. So anyways,
There's a bunch more on here. I mean, there's different ones.
evil world we live in. Evil
Oh,
world.
yeah.
And it's been that way forever, and it's not changing. Thank y'all for listening. Just go out to mallardbay.com for all your hunting needs. You can book anything you want with mallardbay.com. We appreciate you. Thank you. God bless y'all, and have a great day.
Love you. Bye. Watch for deer.